So our mission is that we need to be loving advocates of truth, because that's the other sort of oxymoron, where today we find that people say that you got to be loving at the expense of truth. You got to be compassionate, but at the expense of truth. So you find that we're living in a society of feelings and emotions. That if it feels good, if it feels right, then it's got to be truth. It's got to be true. And that's where you have all of these organizations and these movements that have come up based on compassion and love. Oh, but it's unloving to tell someone that they're wrong. It is not compassionate to tell someone that they're believing a lie. It's unloving, and that's where there's this divide that is pitted against us. Oh, that you Christians are unloving. You Christians have no compassion. No, hold on. We serve a God of truth and love and grace and compassion. The Bible is clear. Jesus was moved with compassion when he saw the multitudes. Is it loving that you don't say anything when someone is headed for the cliff? When someone is headed for destruction? But with that as a background, we look at where I started off in terms of misinformation. And it originated way back in the Garden of Eden. That's where it took place, where Eve was tempted. Eve was fed misinformation by the devil. Eve, God told you a bunch of misinformation. Don't fall for his fake news. Listen to me instead. That's pretty much a paraphrase of Genesis chapter 3, where Satan says that. And when you look at this picture, it's what's happening to us today. It's what's still happening in the world today, where you get God's word, but the devil, through people, whether they're politicians, whether they're movie stars, whether they're pop stars, they come out and they are speaking a language that is contrary to the truth that is in the Bible. Did God really say that? No, man. God is love. That's so uncaring and unloving. That can't be the God of the Bible. And then they present a different Jesus. And I've come to the stage now where, if you've heard me and if we've had conversations, I've shared it many times. Or which Jesus are they serving? Because that's what's happened now. There's a different Jesus that's being presented. The Hindus have a Jesus, the Muslims have a Jesus, the Buddhists have a Jesus, the atheists have a Jesus, and the people that are around us, everybody has a different Jesus. And that's where, again, it comes to a different truth. Whose truth is it? Because if it's not the Jesus of the Bible that is revealed in God's word, then it's a different foreign Jesus. And in this, there's an important point that I wanted to highlight there, that the first person in the history of the universe to be accused of misinformation is God himself. And God remains the top target of false accusation and censorship today, to this day. How much of the Bible is censored today? You can't say this, you can't do that. I mean, even in the UK, there's even the thought police, that you can't even pray. People are getting arrested for praying in their minds. That's how the world has advanced, inverted commas, advanced today. Because they are afraid of the word. And that's where, when you look at the verses that we spoke about in John 17, that's why they want to contain the world. They want to remove the word from the world. And I spoke about the misinformation that's going on. But the thing is, we've got to understand what misinformation is. Misinformation is the unintentional spreading of falsehoods. But today you don't have that. It's not unintentional. It is deliberate. So the correct definition for that is disinformation. And disinformation is the intentional spreading of falsehoods to deceive. And that's what you have today. It's deliberate. It's not an accidental or by the way sort of thing. It is done with pure intent. And the intent is to remove the word, is to corrupt the word, to mess it up so that people don't know the truth. So this is what you have happening in the world today, a complete intentional misleading of people. And the number one source for that misleading of people comes from false news and claims, from the media. Images are manipulated, videos are manipulated, and misleading statistics are presented. And this is where you find that the mainstream media today have become outlets and channels of disinformation that are contrary to God's word. And we got to be so careful. We got to have our minds open guided and led by God's word in order to discern the disinformation from the truth. There's a nice image here that I've got up here. Now, anybody with a brain would see clearly that that's a snake that's killed a fish. Now, I'm just being a bit, trying to add some humor in here. But if that was reported on mainstream news today, that would probably be the headlines. A brave snake saving a fish from drowning. That's a picture. And they say the picture doesn't lie. And again, the question is, whose truth is it?